Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, we started playing the game again this year. Just wouldn't be the fall season if we didn't get in a round of Occult Chronicles and Consuming Shadow. And Dr. Whom is visiting the mansion. First time on this new computer of mine over here. We created a professor-type character, one who is wands focused, at least at the start of our expedition. And we're here in order to figure out what's going on with some missing pieces of equipment and some creatures that have gone missing. We've found a single clue so far, which hinted that someone was wearing some sort of yellow outfit, and there was some sort of green fluid on the other side of it. It's interesting. Wonder what it means. We've leveled just a tad. We've leveled our pentacles once, and we're working towards getting another skill card to increase something else. We also picked up, apparently, a point of experience at some point. Go ahead and add that to our skill card, too. We've leveled our Research Expedition Leader 1 point, which is not working as advertised. Seems to be a random number of cards are put in a scried state. I suspect this is busted. Wouldn't be the first time. And otherwise, nothing else I think much happened. Other than we did successfully pass a bunch of tests. We have not yet been put to it, however, because we have not yet encountered a single trap in this mansion. Hopefully, we won't encounter any, but I know that's not possible. Alright, so anyway, let's continue with our mission. Right, we also have two quests, is that right? We do. Looking for some papers for an alchemist that we bumped into. And we're also now looking for an acolyte, a cultist of some sort, who had been trying to conjure something in this mansion, some demons. He bound one demon within this fireplace, and we want to free it if we want to be rewarded, supposedly. And we were rewarded for another quest we completed. We bumped into this mumbling freeze. We communicated with it, and it had us go, or asked us to go, and fetch a heart, which was buried in a bleeding wall. We had passed that wall earlier and returned it. Everything worked out for us. Okay. I liked how that came out, by the way. I'm going to put a small cut here. Okay, and now, let's continue our adventure. The basement! That was easy. Normally the basement's rather difficult to get into. It still might be. Let's head downstairs and put the basement on the basement map. A very easy to enter basement. Interesting. Almost as if this place wasn't designed around protecting whatever was down here. Well, there's no reason for us to stay down here. This is very dangerous. We are not ready for this. Let's go back upstairs before something nasty bumps into us. And the reason why we did this is because if we fall down someplace, I want to see generally how on earth we can get back up here again. We do not want to not know how to get back up to the ground floor if we end up accidentally down in the basement. Some sort of greenhouse, huh? Conservatory. And a locked door. You see, a locked wooden door. There is a worn keyhole right where it belongs, but no sign of a key anywhere. We have a good chance to pick the lock. Or we could come back to this. I generally like having a little more tricks and draw before I commit to picking a lock, due to us potentially getting ill omens as a result. So I think we'll pass on this, unless we must go in there. Well, or we level up our cups once. Some sort of encounter here. And another encounter here. So there's several things that can appear here in the conservatory. There's an alien, which we might bump into. There's a man-eating plant. And there's an alligator. It occurs to me that I spend a lot of time talking about the things these could be. By the time this gets uploaded, this entire series will be done. But I have a question for you guys. Do you like that sort of thing? Or should I just not mention what they could be. It's not like you can buy this game again, so giving tips as to what these things could be and if you do or do not want to venture into them seems pretty pointless at this time. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. I swear, though, I do read your comments. Alright, so, well, if we want to reach this door from this room, we've got to step forward to see what this is. A Telesrati generator. You're confronted with a strange machine that seems to hiss and crackle with otherworldly energy. There is something very odd going on here. You sense that it might be dangerous to get too close. The technology reminds you vaguely of the photographs that you saw that were taken during the first interdimensional war against the Telesrati. This might be a portal generator, and if so, that is bad news. You remember what happened at Tunguska in 1908. You're happy to put some distance between yourself and this strange energy, and you're pretty sure it won't be pursuing you. You seem to watch out for any Telesrati that might be nearby. If this is here, then this room might have brain bots walking around looking for trouble, and we want to avoid those at this point. We'll also avoid whatever this is at this moment. This could be something else. Also, this could be a bunch of busts. Let's see what it is. You hear a rustling sound and pause to locate it, but it quickly stops. After waiting patiently, you start to move again, only to once more hear the strange rustling. It sounds like a bush being shaken for its berries. Without any warning, a 6-foot plant creature leaps out at you. Its tentacle-like vines and roots reach out to entangle your feet. You can't believe what you're seeing. The plant is aggressive, and you're pretty sure it wants to eat you. And we fail our first horror check. Your mind is weak. You struggle to maintain your sanity. Man-eating plant. Giant man-eating plant. Yep. That would make me lose some sanity, especially if it managed to grab me. The creature is surprisingly mobile and agile. It's also intent on catching you. You can smell a sickly odor in the air as it releases a bunch of spores. That can't be good. You remember a case file that you read about? It was the 1915 Triffid event that began in Indochina and spread to Sumatra and Malaysia. Agent John Wyndham and scores of other operatives were lost. It was supposed to have been contained and all the pods destroyed. Apparently not. I remember watching the Triffids when I was like 6. It was black and white on the very ancient knob-controlled TV we had, all like 12 inches of that television in the living room. And I was terrified of that. Oh, those were the days. Back when I didn't know what on earth the world was. Anyway, I did not alter this event in any way. So this gives you a good chance to see how events and combats normally played out in this game. We have only 2 options. Fight it physically, run from it. We don't really have a good chance to beat it up with a 7 target number, 4 tricks and 4 draw, so we're going to try to run. You hate gardening, and this thing really scares you. I do hate gardening. This is, well, if we get a Pentacles card that isn't a queen, we'll win. But otherwise, we're probably looking at a loss. There's a king. There's an ace. Actually, we can take the ace. Alright, good. And a Pentacles card. One of each suit showed up. That's kind of rare. You turn and run, jumping over several flailing vines. Before you know it, you're out of its reach and on your way. Never flip over flea cards. Okay, well, this, as far as I'm aware, is not part of a quest. It's just a hostile encounter, so we'll keep it there. This room looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Surely nothing bad will happen as we proceed down this hallway filled with what is probably not wrapped up bodies. A painting room of some sort. Drawing room is what this says. 2 encounters herein. Let's see what these are. You approach what appears to be a metal coffin. Suddenly you stop dead in your tracks. A wave of horror sweeps over you. The coffin is actually an elaborate iron maiden, and it radiates a pure evil that undermines the foundations of your sanity. You steel your mind against the thing that occupies the metal monster. You feel it probe your mind for some weakness. A good hand. 2 queens. Hello, King of Cups. You can have our ace. Take the 2 with our 5. Lose to the 8. Take the 5 with our queen, and we win the challenge. Take the 10 with our queen. We've learned we can get occasional edge upgrades, so we definitely want to win with as many points as possible here. Six sanity gain. You sense the ancient evil that resides in this steel monster. You recall in your mind a file from a case in the, I cannot pronounce that, Hoyabaisu region of Romania in the 1640s. A mad prince forged it from the melted down holy relics of the surrounding towns and then tempered it into a giant vat filled with the blood of virgin peasant girls. A ritual of some sort empowered the vessel to serve as a repository of an evil spirit that had bargained with the prince. It must abide there even now. So we can try to destroy this. As far as I'm aware, it's not part of a quest. There is also another option. Looks like this is the best option for us at this. Well, fighting it, we have a good possible victory. There's also this option. They climb inside of it. This gives you a unique feat, which is always the same as far as I'm aware, which makes it difficult for you to take damage from poison effects or traps. I don't know what happens if you fail it, because I refuse to walk into this to earn that edge if I can't be guaranteed I win, which is to say I need an Arcana card in my hand to do it. We're not going to walk into this at the moment. You decide to slowly back away from this metal canister of evil. Despite the fact that you can feel it yearning for your blood, you know that you can turn your back and walk away. It's probably a good choice. You see a spent candle placed next to several chalk circles. You have the impression that somebody has been playing a game here. You notice the cards sitting in 3 of the circles. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you recognize one of the cards. Death. Something supernatural is going on here, and you can feel it in your bones. A ritual was in the process of being performed, and was suddenly interrupted. You can sense the spirit energy swirling about this place. Not a good hand. No face cards. A range of numbers here from different suits. But we do resist the horror of a collectible card game. Your mind is strong. You struggle with the effects of the supernatural energy that has been drawn to this location via the ritual that the deck has begun to invoke. Alongside death sit despair and darkness. The unseeing eye seems to preside over all 3. This is a very unusual deck. You can't place it exactly from memory. You think it might have originated in the Balkans, but you are not sure. You study the setup carefully to decide what to do. So, we can try to play the game as it is laid out without understanding the conditions here. But if we can find out how to play the deck, we have a better chance. I think it will lower the difficulty of this. So let's try to decipher the game. You decide to try to examine the card game setup more closely to see if you can identify it and what it was trying to do. It's a lore challenge, so we should get our scry. A Ace of Wands. So we can, this is something, if we draw 2 high-level wand cards, then we'll take this with our page. Otherwise, we can just leave that for our 3. What do we have here by the... Flash of Genius is the only thing. We can't use this? What is this used for? Okay, nope. By the way, I'm not using Flash of Genius because it requires a point of courage. And we've only got 1. So until I get more, I don't feel like we really need Flash of Genius. I mean, if we get into a situation where it's a life or death and we need that, I'll use it. There's also the worrying reality that we might fail to use it. We'll talk about that when we actually have to use a heroic feat for the first time. We have no cup cards. We do have a king. I think we'll take the 10 and guarantee we win this challenge. Queen of Pentacles takes our page. King of Cups. 8 of Cups. So we'll take this ace with our page. Yes, you recognize the deck in the setup. It's clearly the work of the Red Hand. You thought that the cult had been destroyed utterly. Why would a Red Hand divination deck be set up here? Must be a spirit key nearby. Let's try to find it. If you find the key, you can play the deck without the worry that you might precipitate some catastrophic event. You suspect that it is nearby. A key for a deck created for the Red Hand will most likely bear the mark of the Red Hand somewhere conspicuous. You will know it when you see it. Okay. Maybe this was the cultist who was playing this game, saw something that he decided he needed demons for, and decided to summon them. A locked door. Okay. We'll try this one. You examine the lock mechanism and decide that you just might know how to finesse it open. A good hand. We have a Queen of Swords, Page of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. We have 2 low cards. We also have our toolkit, which I need to remember that we have. We select a card and lower the number on it down minus X, where X is number rolled. So here, for example, it's... Wait, is it select a card or is it random? Select a card. Oh, that makes it a lot more useful. Well, anyway, we have a 9 of Cups. I don't really feel like failing this, so we're gonna win this challenge by doing that. A 3 target number is a bit dangerous because you have to draw 2 losing cards there. And, well, every lost card is a chance for an ill omen. But I have in the past failed this in order to try to get a higher number of successes, since we want Aura of Luck. Oh, we get shafted here. Okay, well, we win. The lock opens. You are just as talented with the lock as you thought. Operating room. Okay, I need to save the game here really quick. There used to... So, I have a modded version of the game. I have gone in and adjusted things. One of the things I had done in the past, though, ruined an encounter, which always resulted in a script error whenever I would walk onto it. And this was the room where it occurred. Somewhere in here is an encounter against a nurse. You have to fight her. She's a zombie nurse. She's not part of any quest that I'm aware of. There might also be other things in here, too. So we definitely want to walk in and take a peek. I think there's a Talis Rati in this room. I don't know if we're ready for this room. maybe we should wait a little bit. I don't know if we've got the fighting power to win. But I guess we'll waltz in anyway and take a peek and see what's in here. But I'm saving the game like I did, because if we get the script error, I have to cut the recording, Alt-Tab, Control-Alt-Delete, and kill the game. Oh, and there's no encounter in here today. Am I brave enough to walk down here? I think I am. Alright, nothing in that room. Another hallway. I guess we should see if this side of the mansion connects to this side of the mansion. This feels like this leads to the backyard. Lots of little hallways, huh? That's an organ. That's a massive organ in this room. Well. Oh, let's head on in. I like the statue of death that apparently is behind it. I've never noticed that before. I really like the art that went into the mansion for this game. Let's see what this is. You see before you a large and ornate Baroque pipe organ. The bench before it sits empty. Suddenly your ears are filled with the haunting sounds of music resounding from the organ's pipes. The melody is terrifying, and you are astonished as a ghostly vapor encompasses a musical instrument. You struggle to keep your fear in check. The haunting music threatens to drown you in a sea of melancholy and despair. Something supernatural possesses this musical instrument, and you must resist its effort to chip away at your sanity. Well, looks like we will. We have a King of Wands and a Knight of Pentacles. Our 2 high cards. Our page can be used to take that 10. And we'll win the horror challenge. You've kept your sanity. You shield yourself by humming a simple show tune that's bothered you for the last few months. You chuckle ironically at the fact that such a bad jingle that annoyed you for so long actually came in handy. You stand before the pipe organ and struggle to make sense of what you have just seen and, more importantly, heard. There is a powerful spirit bound to this musical instrument via some nefarious sorcery or curse. You can feel the anger and rage building within it. You suspect it is getting ready to assault your mind again. Well, we have a fantastic chance to communicate with it. You seek to use your talents as a medium to contact the spirit inhabiting the pipe organ and divine what it is that binds it to this world. If you can figure out what is holding it from returning to the spirit world, you might be able to free it. We need 1 point. We have an awful hand. I'm just going to fail this. You reach out with your mind and recoil at the enormity of the pain that confronts you. The negative energy that has accumulated around this nexus is astounding. Its attack leaves you nearly unconscious and in great pain. Oh, I did not realize this was so hazardous. Okay, thankfully it wasn't. Let's do that again. Awful hand. Let's flip cards. We have a king, so I'm willing to play this out. We have to make the choice right now. The rest of our cards are garbage. We'll play it out. We'll win this. Oh, that's a shame. I should have gone for the 4. Well, now that's even less successes we'll have. Your mind establishes contact with the spirit. You recognize immediately that what you are dealing with is the agony of hundreds of tormented souls. No, not souls, but a psychic pain that still resonates in the pipe organ. They want something of you. You think that you finally understand what you are confronting. The disembodied death agony of hundreds of souls has accumulated in the pipe organ either by design or accident. The negative energy manifests itself as a single entity, a self-aware super spirit of anger and rage. You suspect that you are witnessing the end result of many a black mass and vile sacrifice. It wants your help to free itself to seek retribution. Many years ago, it was sabotaged by the will of its creator. It needs you to seek out its missing parts and a sheet of music that can release its trapped rage. First, find the grandfather clock where the missing parts are hidden. Then confront and destroy the evil organ master ghosts that weaved the binding spell and hid the missing parts. It possesses a sheet of music that, when played, will break the curse. A clue. You find an old toy gun. An odd toy gun, that is. It must be a toy. It looks like something a child would play with. It is small, silver, and smooth, the antenna sticking out the front. You squeeze the trigger, but nothing happens. Interesting. Yes, viewer, we know it's supposed to be a ray gun. Zombies! We still hate these guys. Alright, so more or less the same. Our fight chance is a little bit better. That's interesting. 4, 4, and 4. But I like our 7, 6, 6. I generally, even though it's a higher target number, we have more cards in hand and more opportunities to use them. So I'm going to try to use sorcery again. We have a good hand as well, with 2 knights and a queen. I don't like failing combat challenges like this. There's always a chance something can go horrifically wrong with the outcome, so we're going to play to win. And we do. Okay. Is there a page or a knight of swords in these 3 cards? I don't think there is. The odds of that being the case is very low. So, we are already winning, though. We could gamble that and get a few more points by playing to 10. But I'd rather just, at this point, win. Win more. Win more bigly. Let's do that. There was a page. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so we lost a few points there. Quite a few points. That's the fun of this game, is taking chances like that. But I always play the odds, and the odds of that occurring are very low. If there were more cards that you could put on the board, and or more options for you to use your abilities, I feel this game would be fantastic. But there isn't, unfortunately. So I always play the odds, which might make it a little boring. If we had a full deck of tricks and maybe another 5 cards in hand, I would take that risk. But alas, I'm not going to. All right, anyway, who cares? It was tricky, but you managed to get all 3 within the confines of the spell. It helps that they were the slow type of zombies rather than the fast type. Last time we got a bunch of positive cards that when we did this. 2 experience points. And a bunch of points for life and sanity. Okay, we're going to save the game again. Because we're about to draw a skill card. Or what are they called? Yeah, this is called the skills card. Okay, let's do it. Alright, so the question is now, how are we building our character? What are we taking next? What do I want to focus on? Well, I would like this character to use, like, guns, but we haven't found a gun. So I think we're going to pass on range or melee specialists until we find something of that sort. So that means we've got the rest of these. Well, the rest of these? We do have all the rest of these, but I want something that now... let's talk about this really quick. So, because range... I'm messing this up, I'm sorry, viewer. Down here, you see this says Sword's Bone and increases Sword's attribute. Useful. We haven't put any points in this at the moment. We also haven't found a ranged weapon, so I'm not interested in taking this until we do. Melee weapon specialist. Sword's Bone. But we don't have a melee weapon. So until we find one of those types of things, I'd rather not take either of these picks. Stealth helps you with fleeing. It gives you cups as well. It gives us defensive heroic feats to dodge traps as also. We could take this. It would improve our cups. I don't take this very often. And we have been fleeing from a few things. Let's take this. You move like a ghost, and having seen your fair share, that's no wild boast. You are one of the few to ever have left the League of Darkness and lived to tell about it. Really? And you had to fake your own death to do it. Wow. That sounds amazing. I mean, let's take it. Okay. The next thing we want to improve is our cups, and we want to improve it twice. Then, we want another skill card. Let's also save the game again, make this permanent. Hope you guys don't mind that I do that as often as I do. Once again, I'm just worried we'll end up bumping into a script error, which will stop us from... Oh, it will undo all the progress I've made. Junk storage room. Well, there's no junk stored here today. Or at least it's all just pure junk, nothing we need. Oh, I don't like hallways. There's a lot of nasty traps that could be in hallways. Life support fully functional. The chief alien engineer has stabilized the saucer's environmental controls. If you stay inside the saucer for too long, the atmosphere inside will eventually kill you. So, now we get to explain story tokens. When you draw a story token, you have a new status effect, which takes place here. All challenges that involve cups as a primary suit receive a +1 modifier to number of trick points needed to win the challenge, while the story icon is active. That penalty is randomly chosen. We could have read the same text and it could have been a completely different penalty. As well as when the next story token is drawn, this penalty is dropped, and you only ever deal with one penalty at a time. I really feel they should have stacked penalties on you in a similar fashion to how you're, well, Yeah, and it's a question how your clue tokens stack to help you. Alas, that's not the case. But this is going to make traps and fleeing a lot more difficult for us. We're now really desperate to improve our cups 1+1 to counter the modifier here. I am not stepping this corridor. That is a mistake. And I'm not going to step in those two spots either. Okay. It's over here. A giant room. A kitchen. This feels like this goes upstairs. Let's investigate the kitchen instead. Dining room. Quite a large one. You hear the sounds of something feeding. In the gloom, you see a bloated figure seated at the end of the table. Your first impression is that it is corporeal and not a spirit of some sort. You step closer to get a better view. The creature is demonic in appearance. It's busy feasting on some type of meat that adorns a silver platter. It halts its chewing and slowly lifts its head up to examine you. The eyes transfix you. Your training tells you that you are in danger. Oh, thank goodness. I wouldn't have thought I was in danger otherwise. You fight to keep your mind from racing away with thoughts of panic and terror. You also struggle to keep your lunch down. Not the best hand we've had. Ooh, this is really bad. It's very bad. Okay, we don't get any successes. You can't control your fear or the feelings of nausea. You fall to your knees and heave out the contents of your stomach. The demon grins. Thankfully, we've built up a bit of sanity, so this is acceptable. The more sanity you have, the more likely you will draw higher sanity loss cards, by the way. Up to -4, I think, is the highest you can draw. You're confronted with a demon of gluttony. As red juice runs down its face and chin, you struggle to overcome a growing nausea. You remember the odd lectures in demonology, a type of demon for each of the 7 deadly sins described by Julianus the Thurgist in the Hermetica Chaldea. These demons love to bargain and converse, and playing along with one can be very dangerous. It seems to be sizing you up like it's looking at a meal. Well, you take a seat and manage to gain its attention. You start a conversation, old Chaldean. A 10 of cups. We don't have a fantastic hand, but we'll just play this out. And since this is the only cups card we have, and I'm nervous we'll have... This is the perfect card to take with our page. There's no reason to flip anything else over here and see a queen or king of cups. Let's take that 10 immediately and win the challenge. 8 of wands. We can take you with our 10. We can take the 2 of wands with our 6. And that is it. It seems eager to hear you out. In fact, it wants you to do it a little favor. Bring me more food. And a bucket. The demon says it wants more food. And it's not just any food. There's a nursery nearby. It wants a baby. And from its description, it's not just any baby. This is, I think, a nod to Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, the vomit scene. That was really disgusting. Anyway, you're not ready to confront the hungry creature at this moment. Let's leave it alone. You hear the sound of straining metal above you, and then a sudden crack. You look up and see a massive glass and metal chandelier falling directly towards you. Alright, our first trap, everybody. Okay, we can duck and roll, which is miserable. 6 target number with 4 tricks and 4 draw. We can also try to sidestep, which is 6 tricks and 4 draw, which isn't much better, but we're going to do this. You judge the trajectory of the falling chandelier and notice that you can shuffle over to one side and avoid it entirely. Well, we have an okay hand. Knight of Cups, Queen of Wands, Page of Wands. Ah, Flash of Genius is not used here. This is the evade. Okay, so we just have to hope. Well, we can take the 4 of Pentacles with our 7. I didn't even mention you 7 of Pentacles. Thank you for at least reducing the number of bad cards we have to draw at the end of this. Okay, we need to win. 1 card left, so we're not going to hope... The odds of that being a Knight of Wands is very low. So we'll play the Queen and win the challenge. It was just as you thought. There was a safe spot, and you found it. Somebody should give you bonus points for style. Or a fortune. You can also gain ill omens for losing traps. More importantly, though, you can take wounds. We never want a wound, especially not this early. We can still play through the game if we had like 4 in all our stats and we take a wound, but they're horrific. They are absolutely nightmarish things to get. So much so that, well, Vera, you don't know the amount of times I've recorded the Occult Chronicles in the past and just dropped every single file I recorded for getting a wound within the first 3 episodes. They are that bad. They are run-ending bad. Thankfully, we did not get one. Impairments. That's the thing. Okay, wounds affect you physically. Your swords or cups will be impacted. Impairments are your wands and pentacles. I actually really like the idea of them. It's just that it's so tough to raise your stats. Well, we'll talk about... no, let's move on. I'm going on all sorts of tangents. You guys don't understand what I'm talking about. I apologize. You notice an odd painting hanging on the wall. It's a portrait of a man dressed in 19th century clothing who appears to be completely petrified with fear. He holds a dueling pistol in both his hands, and a group of undertakers in the background seem to be digging a grave. Suddenly the portrait seems to animate and it comes to life. The coward looks at you with an imploring expression as if he was seeking your help. You could swear that you can hear the gravediggers laughing. You stare at the man in the painting and his fear seems contagious. You must fight to keep your sanity. I'm willing to hold on to our queen this time. Let's pay the 6 of swords. We'll take the 7 with our page. Well, it was a mistake. You still won. In a playful way, you exclaim boo to the ghost that he starts to shake and sob uncontrollably. The coward in the portrait seems to be actually shivering. He seems to be fumbling with his dueling pistol, and you fear he will discharge it accidentally. There's obviously a spirit trapped in the painting by some sorcerer's curse. He is the target of a quest. So I'd like to not kill him outright, but we could do so. We'll try fleeing once. You can't believe you're even thinking of this, but running from this cowardly creature might be the best course of action. It is still a supernatural apparition, so you'll need to conquer your own fears first. It's not a good hand. Have to get lucky to run away from this thing, and we get lucky. It wasn't so difficult after all. You feel a little sheepish about it, but nobody else has to know. A flood of rats. At first you hear the telltale scratching and scuttling noises. Rats. Probably in the walls, you think. Without any further warning, a veritable tide of rats floods out towards you. You've heard stories about rats in the walls, but you were unprepared for this. I like that it's capitalized. That was a H.P. Lovecraft story, if I recall correctly. You wonder if they really can take a man down to the bones in a few minutes. Not a real choice there. Page can take the 10 or lower. We also have the 10 in our hand, so no reason not to do that. Is the... Oh, once again, nope, we have the same decision there with that page. Play it immediately. The rats come towards you like an immovable force of nature. There must be 100 of them. If they overwhelm you, you fear that you might not be able to get back up. One more time, viewer, this is the last time I'll mention it during this entire series. Or rather, this attempt at beating the game. Remember again that I've modded this game. Originally, you had this option and this option. I added this one to it. So we're going to do this one, because this is the best chance we got. And once again, when I added these, I made sure that they were the same thing as the other option you had here, but used different stats. So this is swords, cups, swords. This is pentacles, wands, pentacles. And the difficulty was the same, 6. So this is the game making this more difficult for us, because otherwise the game feels it would be too easy. Screw you, game. There are many of them, but they're not cranium rats, so they won't be slinging spells back at you. Oh, well, we gotta hope there's cups up there if we want to do well here. And we get a Cups card. This lets us win the challenge. And we win the challenge. Barely, but we do win. We kill dozens, wound even more, and fling yet more away. At some point, they seem to break, like they were being controlled by a single will, and then scatter and flee. Thankfully, we can just walk right past that demon. We won't step there, although there shouldn't be another... Oh, let's do it. Okay, no trap. Oh, this room doesn't look good. There could be a very wicked knife in here, and I'm not ready to encounter that yet. So we'll come back for this room. Food store... It could be in this room, too. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, let's walk into this. You think that you hear someone whistling at first. The gloom seems to part, and you encounter a figure engaged in a task of some sort. It's dressed in clothes from a previous era. As you come closer, you realize that you are in the presence of something supernatural. The figure is transparent and seems to glide here and there as if floating on air. No matter how many times you see something like this, it's always a bit of a shock. Your touch with the supernatural threatens to chip away at your sanity. Calm your mind and resist the terror that wishes to overwhelm you. We should be able to do it with what we have in our hand. And we do so. Ooh, wow, all our number cards can be played. And the queen. At this point, you've almost gotten used to the spectacle of spirits of household servants scampering around their old haunts. We have encountered a few of them. The ghost that you are observing was obviously once a baker. You recognize the distinctive clothing and discern that it appears to be going through the motions of preparing bread for the oven. You sense, however, that it is agitated. It keeps repeating the same motions over and over, as if stuck in some type of circle. It pays no attention to you whatsoever. Well, we're the polyglot. Let's talk with him. You decide to make contact with the ghost and listen to its story. Many focused hauntings like this have some unresolved business here in this world. Maybe you can help? Well, we have a king. We have no... and a bunch of okay... well, one other good card. I'm just going to fail. Well, let's flip over cards and see if we can play our king on a queen. We're not. In fact, we can't take any of the cards. They're all cup cards, so we have to fail this. You enter a trance and cyclically reach out to the ghost. No, 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 no. I'll not have that thing in my oven. Now go away. It lashes out at you. Generally, failing encounters like this will result in you losing a little bit of sanity. Unless you're doing very well, in which case you'll lose more sanity or possibly even worse might happen. But at this point in the game, I don't have to worry about taking losses too much for an encounter of this sort. I want to do better than this. I'm going to fail again. Yep, that's what I would expect to get if we fail this encounter. Nope. No face cards at all in our hand. We do that again. A king and a knight of pentacles. Unfortunately, 3 of the 5 cards up here are not a wands card. The Queen of Wands. Okay, we'll finish this. That's a lot of points. We can take it with our queen, our king. And we can take the 9 of pentacles with our knight. Perfect. You enter a trance and suddenly reach out to the ghost. As you suspected, the ghost is caught in a psychokinetic rut of the sorts. It's not fully aware of this, but it seems eager to talk. I haven't any time for you, says the ghostly baker. Unless, of course, you can get my oven working again. It's wandered off somewhere, but I need it cleaned and fast. It's time to make the donuts. The ghostly baker pays you no more heed and goes back to his endless preparations. You define his oven and clean it. That's a quote right there, time to make donuts, from the Dunkin' Donuts commercials we had here over, at least in the northeastern part of the States, way back in the 80s and 90s, or early 90s. They don't make their own donuts anymore. Like, they don't bake... I'm sorry, they do make their own donuts, but they don't bake them fresh at the stores any longer. I guess there's a lot of stores, so I guess they wouldn't do that anymore. That's a shame. Anyway, let's spend those experience points. I want another point in cups. We're rushing that. That will help us against traps and fleeing. This is not likely to be it. This is probably the butler. An old refrigerator. You come across an odd sight for this house, and that is saying something. Before you stands a 1922 Kelvinator refrigeration unit. Who knows how it got here? You notice that the door is hanging slightly ajar. Your eyes are drawn to the interior of the main porcelain cabinet, and you are shocked by what you see. Jars and jars of internal organs, some human, some you are not sure of. By seeing any event, I also know what other events are present in the mansion. This is part of a 3-step series quest, which we will generally always do. Your stomach turns at the sight of all the neatly stacked organ jars. The methodical alignments and the precision of the stacking makes you wonder about the evil, obsessive-compulsive genius behind this. Oh, we get a great hand for swords. Yeah, let's just win the challenge outright. Wow, no single sword card, and a good thing we played the page, because the queen would have taken it and would have lost this check. Your mind is strong. You aren't going to go looking around for sandwich fixings, but the sight of the organs and tissues, many of them still moving, doesn't really faze you. Rows of neatly stacked transparent jars and specimen dishes containing organs and tissue samples fill the inside of the main porcelain cabinet, each labeled in a neat mechanical handwritten script. You glance over at the tables, noting some of the stranger ones. Krogan, Asari, Drell, Turian. On the bottom shelf is a rack holding dozens of vials also neatly labeled. Zigu venom? Trace of the Beyond? Gnat's acid? I always mentioned it. First one is a nod to Mass Effect. Second one is a nod to the Witcher games. Oh, well, we're here. Let's take a peek inside this room. Okay, no event. I'm worried about bumping into the knife. It's probably in this room. Probably. Oh, that was dumb. I should have moved right across. That was an extra turn we wasted. Okay, so we're running out of places to go on this side of the mansion. Well, we don't have the second part of any of these quests we haven't seen the second part of these quests down here. So let's... What is that? That's the organ. Alright, well, I guess it's time to go... I guess we're coming upstairs. Oh, it's not stairs. Okay, we have a giant room. The organ master might be in here. We have a wooden door here. That might lead outside. It should lead upstairs. Normally upstairs is on the... There's 2 ways to get up to the second floor. One on the right-hand side of the mansion, one on the left-hand side of the mansion. So I'm expecting that to be the case here. You are startled by the rocking cradle. It seems to be moving by its own accord. The squeaking of the runners on the wood is unsettling. You step closer. As you approach, you begin to suspect there is something lying inside the cradle. You peer down into it and behold a thing of astounding ugliness. A demon baby. It grins up at you and you are afraid. Your eyes wind disbelief as the demon baby coos at you in some type of demonic cant. It gnaws at your sanity. Let's see if we can resist it. We can. Take that, demon baby. Its cooing is almost as disturbing as is its demonic appearance. You've heard of an odd agent who might have once looked like this. However, this thing radiates pure evil. It's not going to jump at a recruitment offer, and most certainly has something in mind other than lying here waiting for its mother. Well, we don't really have too many good options, but we're not going to physically beat it up. That's not a good chance whatsoever of winning. So it's going to be fighting it with magic or a psychic duel. The magic is the best chance we have. With only 5 draw for a psychic duel, I'd rather not do that, so magic it is. You decide to fight fire with fire. You hope that you have the power to melt this thing down into meat chunk. Hopefully it is not as skilled. Now, some good high cards. Most of them are wands and a Knight of Pentacles. Start flipping. Well, there goes our good swords card. We're not gonna win this, are we? Apparently, this thing isn't defenseless. It channels this energy directly at you, and it burns. Ugh. You guys have no clue. I always make the grimacing face when I'm flipping cards over lost cards. I'm always like, oh, please don't hurt me too badly. All right, well, we'll do that again. More or less what we had last time. Sure, we win the challenge. You unleash your power on the demon baby. It tries to resist, but succumbs to your assault. Soon it's a lump of sizzling bacon. Well, we completed that quest, and the quest turn-in's right here. So let's go and turn this in, without any further ado. You decide to hand over the disgusting demon baby carcass. Against your better judgment, you give the demon the remains. They are quickly swallowed down and followed up by a huge burp. The demon sits back with a content smile on its face. You've held up your end of the bargain. I'll uphold mine. Ray of Chasmodai, so it gave us a spell. We'll take a look at it together in a bit. Wheel of Fortune, an Arcana card. That's the most important thing to note about this. We'll spin Arcana cards in a few seconds. Alright, so we got two things. Let's look at them. Once again, we're doing this just in case you had never seen this type of game, this game before. So, a spell. Just like our Flash of Genius, we need to have a bone of the appropriate type to be able to utilize this, or we can't even cast the spell. We started with the Bone of Pentacles, so we can cast spells. Looks like we need 4 Pentacles as well to be able to cast this spell. I didn't realize there was requirements of that sort on some of this stuff. Yeah, look at that. Flash of Genius requires 3 wands. I never knew there were minimum requirements for these. That's awful. And anyway, let's see what this does. Roll 1 bone, it has to be your Pentacles bone, and select a non-face card in your hand to discard. Then subtract the numerical value of that card to X random revealed trick cards, where X is the number of pentacles rolled. Then draw a card. So, you take a... You select a non-face card in your hand, discard it, and that number is reduced from a number of random trick cards equal to the die. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's so much text to remember. But if we have a bunch of cards on the table that are numbers that we could have taken but didn't, we can use this to try to help us win those trick cards anyway. Okay. And the Arcana card is an interesting one. Remove all trick and played cards from the table, and then redraw the designated number of trick cards for the challenge after this card is used to take a trick. All trick points remain yours. So in other words, let's say we have 3, let's say we have a full, oh my goodness, this is hard to explain. Just know that it resets the tricks on the board, removes all the cards you played on top of those tricks to earn points or lose to those cards. You still keep your trick cards, your points, and then an equal number of trick cards is placed back on the board again. More importantly to me, it's a card I can use to get points. An Arcana card is a guarantee. It's the highest value of a card you can play in that game, which means it can take a king. And it's not considered of any suit, so we don't need to play it. So it gives us an option to win an encounter that we otherwise might lose. Let's see where this staircase goes. It goes up, that's what I thought. Okay, so... Oh man, we are not ready for the second floor, but I don't want to walk all the way back over here for the green slime encounter. man. We're so weak still. Is there any place I haven't gone? There's this locked door. This will be a room of some sort. We could go back and walk into that. We have this locked door, too. With that one card, we could try playing the chess game. I think we go back. I think we go back. Let's go back. Oh! You were surprised by a sudden flickering of shadow that spreads out around you. You feel like you are being choked by some invisible force. Your eyes bulge as you fight the gasp for air, and the dark shadows swirl around you. A fight. Let's see if we can keep ourselves at least from running away right away. Oh, in terror, we do not. You start to panic, believing that you will surely suffocate. Two creatures of shadows swirl around you. You recognize immediately that you are dealing with a type of ghostly creature that feeds off human emotions, fear and pain being the most succulent. You can either stand firm and fight them psychically, or run and hope to fight another day. Well, let's go ahead and... Oh, wow. Really, game? I can't think of why I wouldn't shadowbox them. I said I wouldn't mention this, I'll mention it one more time. Normally, this and this are the only options you get. This one, I don't know why I made it wands at the end, but I'm glad I did. You throw a few jabs and notice they actively avoid the shadow of your punches. For a second, they hesitate, and that's when you realize you can take them. There's going to be a bit of touch and go, though, metaphorically speaking. A King of Cups is the only face card we have. Let's hope we get a Cups card up here somewhere. We do. It's a 5 of Cups, but we'll still win the challenge immediately by playing that. Not many people are afraid of their own shadows, let alone others. Looks like these nightmares should have been, though. Loss of sanity, gain of sanity. Do we walk straight down this? It's the fastest way, Tim. Every step we take to this hallway has a chance to wake up one of those, wake up one of those? To have something appear out of one of the body bags. Alright, we're gonna try for this. Let's pick this lock. I can use this to choose a revealed trick card and lower its value. We win the challenge. And there's no reason for us to use the tool either. Operating room. Surgical room? Hospital room. Strange operating room. Alright, let's save the game, just in case we encounter the Nurks in this one. Here's an encounter. Brainbot! There's a Talos Rathi in this room. You hear the taps of its metal legs on the floor, and then you see it emerge from the shadows. A Brainbot. Soldier slaves created by the Talos Rathi from human victims to fight their interdimensional wars. They are quick, efficient, and merciless. Nothing remains of their past humanity. The thought of it is horrifying. Your eyes wide in disbelief as you behold the human brain encased in its robot body. Shame this wasn't the combat draw for us. And we win this horror challenge. You have seen these things in action a few times before, and you are confident that you can handle yourself in this situation. Are we? Are we confident we can handle ourselves in this situation? I'm not so confident. The Brainbot seems to be on patrol. You should act quickly before it summons reinforcements. That sounds awful. They are fast, but you think you are faster. Well, maybe we're faster if we can get lucky. Which we are. You manage to give it the slip. They are fast, but they're not too smart, ironically enough. You would still better be careful, though, as it seems that it's intent on pursuing you. Oh, hey! Look at that, everybody! Our first creature left on the board. Normally this doesn't happen to us. We either deal with the monster, or, well, or when we flee it's gone, depending upon the event. Most events of this sort do not actually place a monster on the board after you run, as we've seen when we fled from, say, this guy. But in this instance, as with all random encounters that we can have, a creature is placed here. This will begin to hunt us. It'll wait a round or two before it does so to give us time to get away. I guess we'll go down this way then. Running through doors will make it hesitate, as it doesn't know where you go. And after several turns, maybe like 20, it will, I believe, be taken off the map, if it hasn't found you by then. Oh, it's this door. Well, we're gonna leave this alone. Oh, okay. I forgot it was that type of locked door. Then I'm guessing what we're going to do is fight the green slime and use an Arcana card if we're in danger of losing. We'll come back for death later. We could play against death. We might win like another Arcana card against him. But I'd rather try fighting the green slime and unlock more low-level rooms here at the ground floor. Okay, we're back. So, let's try... Ooh, there is very little chance we win against physically attacking it. No, I don't know how you would do that. So, let's do this. Freeze green ooze. These things are incredibly tough and are known to be able to regenerate damaged tissue unless they're frozen. Granted, there's a great deal of ooze here, but you're confident you can put this thing on ice. 2 kings! That's very good. That is very good. We need to play both kings, though, or we need to take 2 cards to win. A 3. So we don't want to mess around with this. This is a very dangerous encounter. So while we could play the 7, that only gives us 2 points. We'll play the king to gain 6. And we lose. So... even though I don't really want to do this, we're going to play our... Oh, it doesn't matter. Even if I play Rays of Chasmodai, we have no... There is a very small... No. Well, yeah, there's a very small chance we might affect the 10. Roll 1 bone, select a non-face card in your hand to discard. Then subtract the numerical value of that card from another on the battlefield. Let's try this. So we cast a spell. All the spells have their own unique looking dice. It's just for show. The most important thing about this is that if we roll, I think, a 1, we suffer a point of damage. But we succeed at casting the spell. Currently, we need to roll a 4 or less to succeed at this spell. Otherwise, we fail. And we failed. And we take 1 wound. Oh! We still get to cast a spell? That's weird. Alright. So we select a non-face card in our hand, so we'll select the 10. So non-face card in your hand and discard it. Insert it. I want this one. Accept? Oh, okay. We go here. So we want the 10 gone. Nice! We do. So it selected the Ace of Wands, which is the only one we cared about. Oh, we draw a card. Also, interesting. And now we win the challenge. Oh, thank goodness. We didn't have to use our Arcana card. Now, there's some good stuff we can get from beating this thing up. We might still want to have played our Arcana card to get a lot more points, but I just want this gone. I'd rather hold on to the Arcana card for a different encounter. So let's just win this. That was lucky. I thought if you rolled higher than your pentacles, that you failed to cast a spell. It looks like instead we just take 1 point of damage for failing to cast it. I feel that's too... Well, I'm glad that's the way it works. That's a lot more lenient than I would have thought, given how some heroic feats work. But I'm glad it worked that way. It means we won this encounter without needing to use the Arcana card. The creature's overconfidence proves its undoing. It attempts to engulf you from all directions. When it does so, you cast an Ice Nova centered around yourself and catch every inch of the creature in it. You smile to yourself. Overconfidence can be a slow and insidious killer. I'll take a point of experience. That's what we need. Level our cups in again. And viewer, we've been playing for about an hour, so this seems like a fantastic spot to stop. That was really close. Holy crap. Oh, I'm glad I added that sorcery as a battle option. That was fun. And I'm glad we remembered to use that spell. I was about to use the Arcana card to help us win. My goodness, we got lucky. Well, sometimes luck favors the foolish, as it did right here. Thank you guys again for watching. Maybe I'll see you guys in the next one. And take care, everyone.